Hi guys, this is Friday morning, and we've had a little bit of a interesting week going on, and just kind of wanted to bring you up to date on what's going on. Got my engine all painted up. Kind of give you a look at it real quick. There we go. Yeah, we went with Caterpillar. Little story goes along with that. I was up at the Caterpillar joint here in Oklahoma City, and told the guy I'd like to get some Caterpillar color, and he said that it'd be free to have it shipped in if I just wanted to pick it up there at the Caterpillar place. And I said I'd be glad to, and it's going to cost like $58 and stuff. And he says, so what kind of engine are you building? Assuming I was building a Caterpillar. And I said, I'm building a Cummins 5.9, and he goes, he says, the world may implode, but I'll sell you the paint anyway. And so anyway, I got some real Caterpillar color, and that's what we're painting. We're going to contrast it with black. Here, let me show you that. Here's one of the covers. It's going to be contrasted with black. Huh? All right, so that's what it looks like so far. But let's talk about what happened yesterday. I've got some video about yesterday. It's going to be kind of broken video, but I got some video on what happened yesterday. Let's take a look at that right now. All right, hey, welcome in. All right, today we're going to do some removal of our injectors, and we're going to do our springs. We're going to change out these stock springs, and we're going to put in our 60-pound spring. I made, and I'm going to tell you how I made this. If this is successful, I'm going to tell you how I made it. It looks kind of like a spark plug, doesn't it? But what it is it is a an air chuck here that's into a reducer, and the reducer has a barbed end on it, like you're going to put a hose on here, and it's like a 1/4 inch. And what I did is I soldered this thing down in there so that it seals, so that when I'm ready to do these valves, I will take, and this is I ordered this. This is a nut, a hold down nut for an injector, and so they ought to match just fine. I haven't tried it yet. We'll see if it works. This ought to seal. This will shoot the cylinder full of 100-pound pressure of air, and that'll keep my valves up in their seats. And that way, as long as I don't push down on them very hard, I should be able to get everything done here without having to turn the crank over. Well, okay, we got the all of the injectors out. Okay, we've got our little tool down here, and we're going to air it up, and we're going to see if it holds everything. All right, as you see, it was not very successful. And the reason why it wasn't very successful is for one particular reason. Let me show you one of these injectors. All right, here's injector number 5. Let's take a look at the tip of this thing. This is a 5, and I don't know what the orifice is, but there's 5 outlets on it. Mainly what I need you to look at is look how much carbon there is on that. See how much carbon there is on this thing? With that. I mean, that's awful. I talked to a couple of friends, and Mike Fuchs, Mike, I hope I pronounced that right, on our Facebook Cummins page, where I get a lot of my conversion hardware. Mike said at that point that in all likelihood you weren't getting the valves to seat right without any combustion, because it had idled so long and gotten pretty carboned up, and you could see that it got pretty carboned up. And so the exhaust ports on it got carboned up a little bit. This is a hold down nut from another set of injectors, and this is a connector that has a barb end on it so it doesn't pop out or anything. And I was able to get it to work a couple of times, but what would happen is I would start cranking down on the springs with the tool, and it would release. And when it would release the air, then I would lose all the pressure off of my compressor, and it wouldn't be able to hold them. So I'm going to have to do it the old conventional way, in which Mike once again comes to the rescue and says, hey, just bring everything to top dead center. You only have 1/100th of a clearance whenever it's at top dead center. It's not going to drop out of sight. So that's what we're going to do today. So let's tune in and take a look and see if this happens a little bit smoother than it happened yesterday. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm sticking this blower down into the piston here, and there's lots of close clearances down there, so I'm going to be real careful how I do this. But now I'm going to rotate the engine and get the engine top dead center in my center tube. So you do 2 at a time. You do, this would be 3 and 4, and then I'm going to do 2 and 5, and then I'm going to do 1 and 6. And so I'm going to rotate this. Right now, this is top dead center on number 1, and I'm going to rotate this till we're up here. And we're going to watch this. When it starts to come out, then we know to watch it, and we'll be at top dead center on that center one. And that's what we want. Here we go. All right, it's coming up. Wiring it over here. Make sure nothing gets in a bind. That rod comes straight up. All right, now it's stopped, so it's right there at top dead center. This one should be too. Yeah, right there. Right there. Okay, we're at top dead center on that center one. Okay, there's the exhaust side of it. And we'll take a little move here, see if everything comes up. Things are starting to release in there. All right, got my magnet. Boom. It's out of there. Both of them. Right over here. There they go. All right, now it's released. Let's go ahead and back this off and swap out the springs. Keep that. Now, while you're in here, we want to change out these seals. The seals for the valve stems, and so I'll pop those off. I've got a new set over here. All right, so we're going to get these valve stems seals out and replace those while we're in here. You're in here to do this stuff. You're not thinking ahead like that. You're playing pretty stupid. And I'm the most stupid mechanic there is. And so I go by what Mike Fuchs says. And Mike says, change them out while you're in there. That's what we're going to do. Okay, so here are the seals. They are Interstate McBee. It's kind of a universal right there, and kind of get the part number in there for you. You can see that. Hopefully you can. I'll read it to you. M as in Montana -3921640, and we'll do those one at a time. Okay, we're ready to put the springs in. Since they're considerably taller, it takes a little bit of more of a stretch for this, so you have to give it more of the line go down to the center, so it screws in here. And you want to get more than just a couple of threads, so. Here we go, we're going to go back in with our keepers. They're clean. First keeper's going in there. Boy, you don't want to drop these down in the engine. Okay, they all look to be in there. Screws in nice and tight. Alright, so I've been instructed that the last thing you want to do is you want to tap these things. Make sure everything's good. Alright, everything looks good. Alright, now let's put the rockers back on. The reason why you want to blow these out is because you don't want to get it into a hydrolock down there. And so you bury this down in there and you blow it out. Head bolt. I'm going to clean that out one more time. And a drop on this dude. So we pre-torque it to 90 pounds, and we will come back in 2 more stages, bring it up to 100 and eventually to 110 on our final torque. And we're going to do that with all the bolts on top, all 26 bolts. We will do it sequence as the recommended by the manufacturer. We will sequence those. 3 different stages, so we keep that head gasket intact. There's your 90. All right, that completes one. All right, I'm done for the day, and that's kind of wraps up a good week here. Got quite a bit done this week to the engine, getting the mods done that we want to get done before we get ready to pull that 6.4 out of that F350. One of the things I want to tell you that I did after the exchange of the springs, you didn't get to see me sequencing the torquing of all the head bolts. So when you pull out the pedestal head bolt on there, you put it back in at a preset setting. And I have a mechanic friend that said to bring it back to about 90 pounds and put all your pedestals back to 90 pounds when you're doing your springs. When you have finished doing your springs. So what you want to do is you want to sequence the head bolts on that head back to where it was. And the way you have to do that is that you bring it once you change the springs, then you bring it back to 90 pounds. Then once you change all the springs out, then you do 2 more sequences. Bring it up to 100 pounds, and then sequence it again to 110. And that way you go through all 26 head bolts, and then after you finish the whole thing, then you sequence again to make sure everything's at 110. If you really want to get crazy and go to 125, God bless you. Give it a try. See if you don't twist any off. I stopped at 110. That is a standard set for the Cummins 5.9 stock. But we're shooting for 400, and so we want to make sure it's good and tight. I have seen some people say that you can tighten those things to 125. I'm not sure that I would do that without getting some harder bolts. But I'm trying to, like I said, just trying to make this a moderate, powerful engine. I want to bring it back up to the power that I had on my 6.4, because my 6.4 could peak out around 350 horses. If I can get to 400, I'll be fine. So, having said that, this kind of wraps up this week, and I'm glad you guys have followed along to see us do this swap. This weekend, I'm going to be doing a lot of work on the P-pump, the P7100, the granddaddy of them all. I'm going to be doing the mods. I'm going to do delivery valves on it. I'm going to set the RPM governor up with some 4,000 springs, and also going to do an AFC modification. I am not going to be doing the AFC live per se. They have a new one that modulates the mixture of fuel with the turbo, and it's kind of a stage back one. I'm going to probably go that direction because, like I said, I'm not doing anything that's real powerful. So that will give me the option to make sure that I don't burn black smoke all the way across California. So it's been a good week. Next week we will be doing the P-pump mods. So we'll see you then.